Just place a small head on this head. At first, I didn't believe it. Until that day. Today is my third day of unemployment. The roof leaked from rain. And at that moment, a subordinate from Heilongtang notified the landlord to raise the price. I've really had enough of these days. I decided to trust this mysterious wishing leader. It can only be used 3 times in a lifetime. I prayed to roll a big number. Not aiming for 20 points. At least not just a little. In an instant, the leader emitted a rainbow-colored light. A blinking number appeared. 4. Heh. So fate really isn't on my side. As I tried again and again, the limits of investment gradually became clear. Winning a grand prize of 30 million. The body develops again. In 1 year, he became a police chief. What a miraculous and terrifying power. If you spend 17 or 18 points, wouldn't that really be immortality? What should you choose? I am free from illness and disaster. If you choose a 30 million yuan bonus, with my background as a poor man crying his son, I'm afraid I'll have to move my head out that very night. If you wish with all your strength, the process took too long and there were too many variables. Since both the ability to preserve wealth and wealth are indispensable, the most effective way is to raise one's social status. I thought about the boss's attitude when he fired me without reason. I wished to become the chairman of the company. And within 2 days. This surprised me even more. You have to know the Manhua Group, but a multinational company with a market value of 200 million. Previously, I wished to become the general manager of a subsidiary. It takes at least a month. Thinking about it, it's obvious there's definitely something wrong. But since there are risks, then why not just take a big chance? I no longer hesitate. I make a wish. Within 2 days, he became chairman of the Manhua Group. Investment was banned for a while, with a string of self-assured blessings. November 23rd. 2243. 7th Alley on Tianqiao Road, Nancheng District. Not only are there detailed locations and times. Time even generated a detailed holographic map in my mind. The time is tomorrow. Everything will be revealed naturally. Time expired at half an hour. I have already appeared near the destination. This place has become a paradise for chaotic gangs. So I started walking cautiously. It's hard to imagine. The famous billionaire George Moria. It is associated with this dirty, chaotic environment. Only 7 minutes left. I arrived at the 6th alley. Suddenly, a burst of gunfire rang out. Noisy chases and the sounds of steaming passed by me. I hide at a dim street corner. He didn't even dare to breathe. Am I about to fail at the last moment? Observe carefully under the light. I realized these people were just shouting. But they didn't dare to pursue them deep into the alley. It seems the people they offend are not simple either. Sure enough, he didn't understand. The search gradually veered off course. 1 minute before the time node, I arrived at the designated location. There was nothing left to it, not even a stray cat. Could the boss be fake? Time ticked by little. 20 seconds left. So he really got scammed. 2247. A figure crashed heavily into the alley. I looked closely and saw it was him. George Moria. A 32-year-old billionaire. Talin was the most outstanding youth. A famous playboy. But how did she end up here? And was severely wounded. Do you want me to save her life? To repay the debt, she transferred billions in assets. I've never heard of a woman so foolish. Moria, coughing up blood, told me to take her to the hospital. Promised me 3 million. 3 million is money I could never earn in my lifetime. Seeing that I didn't move, she started to increase her investment, helping to stop the bleeding and donating a 5 million diamond watch. I still didn't move. George Moria was already starting to get anxious. She threatened that if she died here, I definitely can't escape suspicion. Just her status alone can take me over, crushing them in the position of scapegoat. At this moment, I finally spoke. I believe in you. But there's a question I can't figure out. Seeing Moria's eyes slowly turning venomous. But I pulled back the half-foot I was about to lift. Don't worry. I'm not here to kill or rob people. He had just wished yesterday to the boss to become the chairman of the group. The leader only gave one location. If I save you, then can he become the chairman? It becomes your personal will. This goes against the principle of making wishes. So there is only one truth. I am here. This is the key to my succession as chairman. It has nothing to do with you personally. Although this sounds strange. But I believe this is the right answer. George Moria's gaze gradually shifted from resentment to confusion. shock and anger. No matter how much he threatened or tempted him from now on, I remain unmoved. His vision gradually dimmed. The breath he had been holding on gradually faded away. He asked why, unwilling to give up. He said as long as I moved even a little more than half a step, only 10 centimeters are needed, he can take my heart. At the very moment of final death, suddenly, a purple orb of light peeled off Moriya's body. His corpse instantly transformed into a completely different appearance. Short, sneaky. He was completely different from his usual tall and handsome appearance. This sudden turn of events left me stunned. But the playing cards with purple orbs of light attracted my attention even more. From the moment he appeared, I had a strong premonition. My wish comes true. It's in this card. The playing cards kept spinning. The front side features the 7 of Hearts. On the back, there is a picture of George Moriya. Just as he was about to disappear with a sharp flash, I leapt up and grabbed it. A message was projected directly into my mind. Detected whether new players have joined the King game. What's wrong with this world? First, it was the head of the wish. Now it's the King's game again. Just how ignorant was I before? Completely unaware of the true nature of the world. Looking at the constantly flashing options and cards. George Moriya on the back. A surge of impulse kept driving him in his heart. I chose yes. New options have emerged. Create new game characters. Or inherit existing roles. This should be the answer to my wish come true. I chose to inherit the original role. Just making a wish for an ordinary leader. I actually became a billionaire overnight. Even more surprising is discovering the truth of this world. The King game. At this moment, unfolding before me. 7 of Hearts. In the skill bar, there have also been physical manipulation and idle strangulation. After reviewing the skill description, I couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. The range of the idle strangler was astonishingly 10 meters. In other words, I just took one step forward. George Moriya would use his ability to possess him, but now it had become a cold corpse. Suddenly, a superb premonition event at life level 4. A deep black smoke, accompanied by the bleak wind. It turns out to be a death dog from urban legends. It is as large as a cow. Heart is foul. Decline. The head grows a spiral horn. I focused my mind and prepared myself. Suddenly, the death dog pounced on Moriya's corpse on the ground. Eyes burning with flames like protective stones. Staring at me intently. I couldn't help but raise my left hand. I want to test my newly acquired skills. This made Death Dog immediately restrain its growl. Dragging the corpse, he slunk away into the night. At least you know what's good for you. If you can't clean it up, you'll break your dog leg. This also helped me solve the problem of handling the corpse. And remain in the same place. A diary lay quietly on the ground. I read through it carefully. George Moriya's life gradually unfolded. Moriya's family can be traced back to pirate kings during the Age of Discovery. But by the 13th generation. But he was a muggle who couldn't even awaken magic. Obtaining the magical inheritance has become an obsession. Finally, he heard a rumor. The king of Blue Feather Kingdom sought to exchange demonic power. Sacrificing the entire nation. Just become a player. Then you can achieve transcendence. And killed the king. He could divide the demon's power. Unwilling to remain silent, Moriya sold all his wealth. In exchange, he obtained a raw ore. He resolutely stepped onto the territory of the Blue Rain Kingdom. But the diary ended there. The rest were all encrypted text. Until I was unwilling to give up. After flipping through more than 10 pages, new lingua franca notes have appeared again. Hee. George Moriya. Your death was not unjust. Next, I'll be the one playing George Moriya. After another long piece of encrypted text, finally, there is new content. Damn it. It turns out the 7 of Hearts has always been a doomed card. I have already failed. The successors who inherited all of this. You must help me kill that person. As for honest advice, that is, study hard. I let out a breath of turbid air. This person could be called the 2nd generation George Moriya. It's exactly the same as what happened to me. The following new notes also confirmed my suspicions. Hee. Now it's my turn to write a diary. I have to say, having money really is great. In return, let me kill that person for you. The diary contained vulgar words and arrogant behaviors that were all laid bare. It seems Moriya transformed into a homeless man after death. Is his true self. He even wrote extensively in his diary. He once fought for 10 days and nights using physical control skills. Truly stubborn. Monk's diary. Finally, the whole story was clarified. I inherited everything from Moria. But he had no intention of continuing the diary. Who would write this stuff? Only the raw ore and enemies mentioned inside. But it made me very concerned. Boss. Chu Yuan really did have a big pit. The Seven of Hearts is actually a doomed card. The poor guy thought that taking over the lives of hundreds of millions would mean he could just lie flat. Unexpectedly, it was the beginning of being hunted by many. Who could possibly kill them? Moria is already a superhuman species. I need more intelligence. But at this moment, I was quietly reading a basic banned book in Lanyu Kingdom. The Study of the Heavenly Heart and Earthly Pulse. A comprehensive collection of basic knowledge of ancient civilizations, especially knowledge of ancient civilizations. The Diary of the First Moria clearly states, as long as you learn 13 ancient characters, you can awaken the spiritual declaration. Officially stepping into the ranks of mags. This has almost become an obsession for the original Moria. I felt it too. This is a more reliable strength growth system than King Game, so I always kept in mind the confession in my diary about studying hard. And as I studied further, the secrets of ancient script gradually unravel. The reason ancient characters are so difficult to learn. Because it actively chooses its readers. For example, right now, I can only understand classical text-related content, while other ancient characters flow like water, passing through my mind in an instant. This kind of learning efficiency is shockingly low, so it's no wonder the original Moria can only remain a pitiful muggle forever. As for the third Moria, although a homeless man, he was uniquely skilled in 3 languages, and at this moment, his power was in my hands. Beside him was none other than his former direct superior, Gretel. Although he had stood respectfully for 3 hours, he didn't dare make a move. No complaints, and even a faint feeling arose in his heart. Look, this is the chairman worthy of respect. Let it already be he amassed a net worth in the billions. He remained as diligent and eager to learn. People better than you work even harder than you. He truly deserved his success. But what I said next? But it shattered all his illusions. You were fired. You can pack up and get out now. His shocked expression remained on his face. But I have already waived off unemployment, and security dragged him out. This 200 jin fat guy. Back then, I was made to work overtime every day and carve my wages. On the day of unemployment, he humiliated me in the same way. It's impressive that he actually relied on sheer willpower. He stood there for 3 hours straight. He really has the potential to be a lackey. But people really can't empathize with their past selves. What I need now are people who truly have the ability to do things for me. Not many new visitors came to the office. Hello, I'm Toreno, the best private detective in Lanyu Kingdom. We are happy to serve you. I am the Minister of Personnel. She stared at him motionlessly. Tailored appropriately. Her polite attitude made her smile spontaneously without reservation. Next, it depends on whether he really lives up to the rumors. All the information about the dark web world is under control. Then Mr. Toreno, what surprises can you bring me? Talino was neither servile nor arrogant. If I'm not mistaken, you must be one of the 52 governors within Lanyu Kingdom. My eyes flickered slightly. The King game has been running for 43 years. Besides the big and small bosses, there are a total of 52 cards. Players are commonly known as archons in the underworld. An intelligence dealer like him. It's not surprising to be able to see through the essence. A beautiful woman you've recently caught your eye on. In fact, he was a down-and-out martial artist who had wandered from the Xuanwu Kingdom. This might be the reason you were recently attacked. The Xuanwu Kingdom has already perished. However, the secret techniques of each sect were targeted by newcomers. Such a helpless, declining sect. I believe many people will be interested. It seems this Taleno really has something special. Right now, there's a task for you. 2 hours later, I drove to the landing spot at Hongsun Gate. Toreno has good intelligence. Mu Wanqin is indeed a descendant of the Red Sun sect. But the homeless Moria took a liking to her. But it was entirely because of her morning beauty. They really picked the rose with the most thorns precisely. The moment the car door opened. Life level 4 danger perception crazy warning. A spike of orn was as solid as stone. Pinned to my forehead. Physical control. The moment the crisis arrived, the superpower from the Seven of Hearts activates. My fingers instantly sprouted 10 puppet lines. Pierce into your own brain and spine. He narrowly evaded the deadly sniper rifle assassination by milliseconds. 0.1 seconds. This is the distance between death and me. The human body's maximum reaction time is 100 milliseconds. But physical control abilities. But my puppet threads are like threads, directly transmitting signals from the brain to the spine and limbs. People dodged as if wearing clothes with their clothes stretched across. The puppet thread pierced the eyes again with supervision. He let me follow the trajectory toward the firing position. At this moment, in the sniper's eyes, my figure was like a ghost. With a kind of ergonomic engineering, angle distortion is impossible. He barely dodged a large mirror bullet. How is that possible? He instinctively cried out in surprise. However, in the next moment, that figure who had survived the ordeal, she suddenly turned her head to look at him. His eyes shone like fluorescent light. Damn it. The location was exposed. Is this guy even human? The qualities of a top sniper. He had no time to sigh. They hurriedly tried to leave. All he could see was the figure of the target. Once again, it activated like a ghost. His speed was 10 times that of a normal human. What's even more surprising is, amidst such high-speed running, he can even accurately judge obstacles and where to land. Every step of force is calculated with mechanical precision. He shot like lightning toward the rooftop where the sniper was hiding. Damn it. Damn employer. He actually concealed the information. This guy isn't even human. And increased the amount of money. You must pay more. But his movements were faster. But the composure of the past was gone. At that moment, my mind was clear. Whether it's the speed currently being used, or the shadowy eyes that had just triggered the vision. These are just basic applications of physical control abilities. No wonder the homeless Moria is so fascinated by this skill. The beautiful woman he pursued turned out to be a martial artist, but as soon as I met her, I was assassinated. This instantly made me suspect a connection between her and the assassin. After dealing with the assassin, I arrived at the meeting place. But the moment he pushed open the door, a scorching surge of heat hit him. The fist struck my arm's defense as if it had been damaged. Even though caution is already in place. But the martial artist's strength still made me suffer a hidden loss. Blood gushed out. With a blank expression, I activated my physical manipulation to boost cell activity. The bleeding gradually stopped. The newly formed muscles writhed, covering the wound. The face of the attacker gradually became clearer. She had long hair and a waist-like waist, delicate features. Her figure was slender and slender. He also possessed a calm confidence that carried his own strength. This was far more refined than the harem group Moria had gathered. No wonder she decreed marriage by lust. Did you arrange the assassin? Doesn't the Red Sun sect want to establish itself in Lanyu State? Facing my questioning, a trace of doubt appeared in the girl's eyes. In an instant, he became resolute. The governors of Lanyu Kingdom have always had traitors. Power is the hard currency of this world. You said you could help Hongqing sect gain a foothold. But if you can't even see tomorrow's sun, all promises are meaningless. Yang Bimu Wanqin once again bent her body and bullied the wounded. Hanging like a shooting star, his figure was like lightning. It's almost as fast as when I use my physical control to control it. A golden light flashed in my eyes. Perfect timing, activate physical control. All 5 horsepower collisions. Mu Wanqin let out a muffled groan. His whole body retreated. The red bamboo shoot gate is growing faster. But she didn't expect my speed to be exactly as fast. The red bamboo shoots capture a glimpse of the scene. In just a moment, she had already adjusted her breathing. Muscle utilization efficiency reaches 20%. Once again, he swung his full spearhead forward. In my shadowy vision, Mu Wanqin's speed suddenly soared a few more points. There is nowhere to escape. 5 puppet threads slipped from my hand. It instantly restricted her movements. Mu Wanqin was both embarrassed and angry. Let me go. She still had even stronger secret techniques she hadn't used. But at this moment, his whole body was trapped. He couldn't muster even a trace of strength. The true trump card of the Red Bamboo Shoot sect. This is a master-level secret technique for achieving 35% muscle utilization. It can transform martial artists into red bamboo shoots. But the sect leader has been in a deep sleep ever since. The disciples either scattered or fled. A large sect of several hundred people. Now only 5 dead remain. All the responsibility fell on his shoulders alone. My expression was calm. We made an appointment first. I'll help you rebuild the martial arts school. Hand over the Red Bamboo Shoot sect manual. Mu Wanqing still insisted. Secret manuals are the foundation of personal benefit, unless you join the Red Bamboo Shoot gate. My expression darkened. Joining the Red Bamboo Shoot sect meant bearing the grudges of the Red Bamboo Shoot sect. They have been wandering all along. Trouble kept coming. Behind the scenes, the Black Blood Federation was hunting them down. My words were icy and sharp. Did you really think I wouldn't dare to block you all? Having money means you can do whatever you want. And as far as I know, she suffered severe nerve damage. The surrounding small countries didn't have the technology to treat her. Mu Wanqing lowered her gaze and brows. This is George Moria. Why did she suddenly seem like a different person? She had been hesitating about whether to show up. Now it seemed that beauty no longer tempted her. The full score is available for you, but only the sect leader knows the ultimate secret technique. You have to save her first. After the threads of physical control were probed into the sect leader's body, I have gained a sense of propriety. He wanted to save her. You have to upgrade your physical control to level 2. It was time to extract the raw ore that Moria had buried. He only helped the beautiful woman from the Xiaowu Daoist family. I was facing yet another assassination attempt. But it also helped me discover more secrets. Although ancient characters are difficult to understand in color. But when I used the Fate Demon to suppress him, I discovered words I had never understood before. Suddenly, it became warm. With the elevation of spirituality, I also uncovered more secrets in the diary. Each card has only one exclusive skill. But when Moria brought the raw ore close to the Seven of Hearts, strange things happened. Twisted Fate came back to life. Begin devouring raw ore. That's why Seven of Hearts has 2 skills. To restore the vitality of the raw ore, Moria had no choice but to bury the ore in the mine, and completely shut it off. But recently, this mine has been experiencing frequent accidental explosions. It seemed someone was deliberately luring me over. I rubbed my eyes. Starting from obtaining the Wishing Demon, troubles kept coming one after another. Whenever I found some clues, you will fall into new confusion again. The full manual of Hong Sun sect is now in your hands. Depends on spiritual growth. My learning speed is getting faster and faster. My physical control skills made me dance quietly and at a leap in speed, but the unease in his heart still lingered. The original condition is of great significance. I decided to go in person. Boss. We were ambushed. They have rocket heads. Toreno's voice remained calm. But this time, the intensity of the attack clearly exceeded the baseline for ordinary people. At this moment, on a hillside several hundred meters away, the mercenary, who thought he could hit the mark in one shot, was utterly shocked. Is this even human? He actually tore open the car door and ran out. Flytt, the leader, sighed. I knew this time wasn't that simple. Put away your thoughts. Prepare for battle. If you don't fight desperately, surely you will die. The heavy machine gun began to roar. Occasionally, there were 1 or 2 armor-piercing rounds mixed in. I left Tolino out of safety design. In the blink of an eye, the explosive bullets had already stopped whistling. The Red Bamboo Shoot fist is slightly drawn. His heart pounded like a giant bone. Push your physical performance to the limit. Even the moving figures stirred cracks and howled. 1.3 meters per second. This is the speed of the Red Bamboo Shoot fist after mastering it. And he did not use physical control. Flair trembled all over. The numbers on the speedometer shocked him. It was actually twice the speed of the hunter violent beast. Damn it. What kind of speed is this? Hurry up and use the tracking rounds. At the same time, a heavy hail of bullets was pouring down, blocked off all my routes. We must fight swiftly and decisively. Physical control activated. My figure soared here. 5 puppet silk threads pierced his spine. The Red Bamboo Shoot fist was raised to a new level. Reach the master level. Red bamboo shoots and fists shimmer with light. A sharp screech. Suddenly, the mountain path was cut through. Even if the gunfire was deafening, yet it still couldn't hide that light laughter. Moments later, only Fleet remained standing in the arena. He didn't look like a mercenary who got paid to do things. Maybe you can get some intelligence. Revealing the mastermind. I might consider letting you go. Flet's expression was complicated. It seemed as if he had made some important decision. You wouldn't think that means you've secured victory. Rushing to activate the chip. As the chip at the back of the brain receives the brainwave commands, Flet began to convulse violently. The person let out a roar of extreme pain. I was on alert. Just as the results were about to be solid, Fleet had already intercepted the attack. His eyes were bloodshot. I support the soul. You are a super warrior of the Black Blood Federation. The Black Blood Federation is a neighboring state of the Black Tortoise Kingdom. It has always been based on the martial arts of the Xuanwu Kingdom, but they cannot be passed down. Until one day, he unexpectedly received financial support from a major power, developed a Goku Dao chip for simulating martial arts. And these super warriors equipped with extreme chips. He was the main culprit behind the downfall of the Xuanwu Kingdom. An enemy as strong as a martial arts grandmaster has set their sights on me. Every punch and move revealed the pretense of a beast. Super warrior Fleet, who uses the extreme chip and coldly tests the voice. That lord said, as long as I kill you, I can also become a consul. Now it's my turn to attack. By the way, is your martial arts really bad? Urgent, even the tiger's heart is in turmoil. It was a move of the Shunwu sect. But Flet's martial arts realm had actually reached the grandmaster level. The clashing hand blades of the tiger fiend collided. It actually sparked a series of conversations. This guy. He actually forced me to use the string kick sand. At this point, full lines cover the pillar's arm. It looked as if he was wearing a pair of gold-rimmed gloves. At this moment, in the eyes of the onlooker Toronto, the two figures fighting in Honkai have already transcended the realm of humanity. It looked more like dozens of after-images fighting together. Indeed, battles among consuls. Ordinary people don't even qualify to participate. The wild wind howled. Waves of energy surged violently. One pit after another kept appearing in the center of the valley. But what shocked Flet was, I actually gradually mastered the martial arts of the Shunwu sect. How is that possible? The tiger is killed. Flet attacked again. But this time, I used the same trick. The tiger is killed. Fists clash. Fleet retreated wildly. His face turned ashen. You imitate me. I do not know if it is possible or not. Martial arts techniques. At a glance, you can understand the path of power. Unfortunately, Flet and Ban attacked again. But this time, I closed my eyes. Accurate prediction is average. Replicated every attack from Flet. Flair grew increasingly anxious as he fought. Could he be poisoned? The idea of running away cannot be consistently present. But what he didn't know was, I was just taking advantage of his distracted mind. The puppet threads quietly seeped into his body. After all, his power was obtained through external chip materials. He doesn't have the combat intuition of a martial artist, so they couldn't detect it. And the earlier imitation attack, it is also just an advanced application of puppet thread. He was actually always fighting his own mirror. 5 killings. Flit charged up a powerful strike. The next flight also tries to escape the battlefield. Suddenly, his body collapsed heavily from the air. Blood stained the ground beneath him red. My expression was unsettled. He carefully took out several chips from the back of Flet's head. It seems they still haven't cracked the ultimate secret manual. Otherwise, the outcome just now would have been uncertain. Seeing the outcome decided, Taino hurried over. Blame yourself for neglecting your intelligence work. 1 grain could supply 10 days worth of food, based on increasing cell activity using physical manipulation skills. It can also heal injuries, correspondingly. And the life detector that Talino bought for me from the black market. 1 large and 1 small, 2 yellow dots kept flashing. The smaller one represents Terreno's life level 2. The larger one is my own 4. Your work has already been done very well. I will reward you. But suddenly, the life energy detector began flashing repeatedly. A single point of light occupying nearly half the screen, getting closer and closer. A long-haired woman appeared before him like a ghost. 7 of hearts. Finally found it. The new beauty enemy is unknown. But I didn't answer well. You might die. 7 of hearts. You choose to join the Guardians or the traitors. Plum Blossom Stone is her code name. But her life level completely overwhelmed me. At this moment, hostility is utterly irrational. The previous assassination. Was it arranged by you? Plum Blossom Stone disdainfully glanced at him. You inherited George Moria. But she made too many enemies because she stole women. This kind of mortal world struggle is simply insignificant. I originally thought the new air would be interesting. But what you focus on is still just these. I was startled in my heart. George Moria capsized due to hook force. It was all just out of jealousy. Women really could only slow down the speed of drawing their swords. When he returned, he would dismiss them all. Plum Blossom Stone continued to apply pressure. Every 5 years, all players pay homage to the king, facing trial, and those who kill their companions to seize cards. It's the betrayer. This year's Judgment Day is just around the corner. If you choose to betray, I don't mind killing you right now. What he said was true. Although I had already instructed Talino not to focus solely on gathering intelligence on the world, but the level he can access is destined to yield very little. Players are divided into Guardian and Traitor factions. The standard for dividing players is whether they kill them, seize the cards. From this perspective, joining the Guardian faction is a good choice. Undoubtedly safer. But this also meant fulfilling the responsibilities of the consuls. If you run into a lousy leader, they could also harm subordinates at any moment during missions. Having been around for many years, I have long understood that nothing is black or white. The traitorous faction prides itself on the Demon Society, clearly targeting King Gustav. It might even be that the logic of their behavior is completely consistent. If there is a choice, I'd rather be a neutral solo traveler. But based on past intelligence, I have already speculated that it is almost impossible for a person to safely get through Judgment Day. There are no veteran players in Lanyu who have completed all 5 trials day in China. The Prime Minister is the most senior. It only lasted through 4 rounds of reshuffling. He is the owner of the Little King card, but he was a non-combatant. It is only responsible for maintaining the operation of the entire social structure. Alright, I joined the former. Hear my answer. Manhua Yang clearly breathed a sigh of relief, but he immediately assigned me the task. Tracking down the traitor Nagelfon. This guy. He was anxious. It was obvious that this traitor had lost his composure. But pursue the traitors. Stop messing around. I have my own rhythm. Step into the mine to extract raw ore. Watching the card absorb all the raw ore. I breathed a sigh of relief. You only need to wait 3 days. I can choose to upgrade a skill to level 2. Next, I should check it out. How is the task I assigned to Talino coming along? In this kingdom where games are like a flood and beasts. But I spent a fortune buying a game studio. Talino, though puzzled. But unfortunately, the boss was too aggressive. Mia, a core member of Dream Maker Studio. She was originally a promising international student at a prestigious university. Who would have thought that one day he would suddenly become obsessed with virtual game development? It was like water pooling in a desert. Madman. But behind the scenes, many people secretly called him a fool. 3 million just injected. So quickly, it burned out again. Should I ask that playboy for another sum? While Mia was deep in thought, suddenly, someone appeared by his side. Is this the login device for virtual games? Mia was startled, but when he saw that it was his own sponsor, still eager to explain, this is just a sample of our copied major powers. If more funds could be actively acquired on the black market of major powers, the research process could be accelerated even further. Very good. I'm very interested. These 2 simple sentences seemed to ignite Mia's passion instantly. He began to speak at length. The earliest virtual real scene login device actually came from the 6-dimensional cult. They are dedicated to connecting human consciousness to create a grand ideal paradise. But now, this technology is being abused by King Games. They became accomplices in shaping the national consciousness. No wonder the Lanyu Kingdom strictly restricts game development. Indeed, the more restricted you are, the more suspicious the tricks become. Just Mia's endorsement alone was enough to recoup the ticket price. I waved my hand. I decided to increase my investment even further. 30 million will be immediately transferred to your account. Mia was filled with excitement and fighting spirit. This sponsor is not stupid. He understands me so well. Then I asked Mia why she insisted on sticking to the original intention of game development. Even when fallen so low as to become a commoner, he never gave up. Actually, I've been dreaming about this since I was a child. I dreamed of a great battle between gods. In dreams, gods burning with blazing flames. They are battling other powerful life forms. They fly through the sky and burrow through the earth, possesses a variety of incredible abilities. The crater in the Carlos Plain. It was basically the site of a great battle between gods. But everyone thought I was crazy. No one believes me. No one has ever believed me. I lowered my head in thought. Having witnessed the demon of fate, it wouldn't be surprising to hear any strange or unusual things anymore. It turns out this virtual reality technology can also bring back deep memories. For ordinary people who have never governed what the world is, seeking these elusive things, it is completely meaningless. But I do know, this is the truth of the world. How many exceptionally gifted individuals have been? It was thanks to this kind of delusional and strange flash of inspiration. Only then can we transcend mediocre scrutiny. I took out a few chips. Asked Mia for help cracking it. His eyes immediately lit up. It turned out to be a military chip from the Black Blood Federation. Strange. No encryption, no self-destruct device. Could it be the latest product leaking out of the lab? Leakation is truly terrifying. The passion bursting forth from Mia. Even I was startled. She danced with excitement. I can break out of the cocoon. I definitely can. These are ancient civilizational scripts. I learned a bit when I studied abroad, but it is still not enough to decipher. These surfaces are cloud scripts in pictographic script, but inside, it was Do's mother, Luo Wen. One of the most difficult scripts to learn. Unexpectedly, there was an unexpected habit. Copy all these words down. I'm taking it away. Mia was clearly taken aback. Could it be that this playboy could actually read ancient script? But in the next moment, the screen was filled with chaos. Current diffusion inside the workspace. Those fingerprint-like words were distorted and distorted. The mirror assembled into a bloody head. A shrill howl echoed. The head resembles the face of a middle-aged person. It seemed as if the distance had torn it apart. Blood was still dripping from his neck. And all the players in the studio. At this moment, they all erupted with eerie and indescribable screams. I dashed forward. One hand snapped the cable. Don't be afraid. It was just a malicious virus program. Mia was puzzled. She looked at my Henglan figure with suspicion. But the words reached his lips and he held them back. Leaving the lab, I exhaled a sharp breath. He never expected that such a huge secret was hidden inside the Jidao chip. Driving to Hong Sun Gate. For ordinary people, it takes decades of hard work to become a martial arts grandmaster. But I only spent a week. At this moment, Mu Wanqing, who was sparring with me, grew more and more anxious as she fought. Although the Archon possesses all sorts of strange and unusual abilities. But abilities like mine, as compatible with martial arts, are rare. She was already the highest-ranked senior sister in the Red Bamboo Shoot sect. But under my repeated attacks, I gradually stopped the right part. Hard to resist. Mu Wanqing couldn't help but feel a strange thought. Fortunately, he had only recently entered the martial arts path. His martial arts skills were somewhat immature. But these 3 days of sparring also left him utterly shocked. His martial arts became increasingly refined. Unexpectedly, he has a talent for technique, the same color. But I didn't notice Mu Wanqing's imaginative couplet at all. His entire body and mind were immersed in his understanding of Hong Sun Fist. Legend has it that the speed of the Red Bamboo Shoot Fist masters throughout history, nearly 100 meters per second. It was practically a martial art for the world. A thorough interpretation of speed that never breaks. But the threshold to become a grandmaster of martial arts stood right in front of me. It seems within reach. But he never made an inch. Even if you rely on physical manipulation skills, muscle utilization rate of the abducted muscle, and it has never been touched. This is no longer a matter of physical fitness or skill improvement. I pondered in my heart. This bottleneck is a difficult problem involving 5 wills, and my understanding of the 5 wills. It was entirely due to the treatment of sect leader Yu Hongwu. After upgrading his physical control to level 2, the puppet threads could already break through the 5 wills within Hongwu's body. I strongly catalyze it. It made his body's normally ordinary cells wildly active, for carcinogenesis generally divides infinitely. Reconnect the broken nerve fibers. This process is naturally extremely painful. It was also incredibly dangerous. Only martial arts grandmasters like Yu Hongwu. Only then can they endure such brutal treatment. I also continuously summarized and improved throughout the process. The intensive treatment lasted a full half hour. After it ended, both of them looked as if they had just been pulled out of a pool, completely drained. Yu Hongwu moved his arm in disbelief. He exclaimed in a miraculous awe. His appearance also shifted from decadent and lost, become glorious again. The dream of pursuing a grandmaster of martial arts and divine power surged in his heart once again. he silently vowed in his heart. Unexpectedly, it was just observing the first 5 points. He was actually injured so severely. But now, the path to martial arts and gods has been opened. The first 5 points. I'm going to make a decision. The transaction is complete. At this moment, the ultimate secret of the Red Bamboo Shoot sect. Chao Tian was quietly lying in my arms. But I didn't rush into cultivation. The will of martial arts hangs in the balance. Just when Yu Hongwu woke up, he saw through my identity as Moria's impostor at a glance. This incident is enough to keep me on guard. The King game constantly reshapes the public's perception. But Yu Hongwu, who possesses martial will, remains unaffected. And the moment I took out a few chips, he immediately sensed the martial aura of the former leader of the Shenwu sect. A bold guess popped into my mind. Each chip is a few strands. Behind it might all be resources known as martial arts grandmasters. And most importantly, during the treatment of Yu Hongwu, I have found that his injuries are not from outside. And it mainly came from his own martial will. Martial will makes martial artists who are martial artists. But it also crushed them. Arrived. I am the king of games. I have drawn strength from both systems. But he learned it again from Yu Hongwu. The declaration of the spirit realm was actually a universal human law issued by the world government's power. That is, the first George Moria. The long-awaited legacy of the mage. These sects with 1,000-year legacy truly hold secrets. Let me go and compare. A worldwide manifesto of the spiritual realm. This power system is never the safest. But studying the ancient scripts of these lost civilizations, it was a time-consuming and labor-intensive war to demon skill. The crisis of Judgment Day looms overhead. For now, it still looks like developing the newly upgraded physical control ability. The greatest results are achieved. At that moment, Toronto's communication suddenly rang. That legendary death dog from urban legend. Found it. The operation to capture the dead dog began. My skill development needed this strong test subject. Legend has it that the death dog not only devours the corpses of the slums, they even chew up their souls together. And the source of this urban legend, it actually started 30 years ago, on the land of the slums. I felt a mix of emotions. Life is hard. The lower class fought for their own money chips for the tiniest living space. So today's chaotic bloody battle continues. Under the gaze of my eagle-eyed vision, as strong as a calf, the death dog, with its first spiral horn, slowly stepped onto the battlefield. They began dragging the corpse. But the gang members involved in the shopping spree ignored the incident. It was as if they had already reached some kind of tacit understanding with this monster. In the dim narrow alley, the nearsightedness of the death dog is full of ritual. It first bit the corpse. Then they began to prostrate and worship. This devout ritual lasted a full 3 minutes. With a sudden impact, a sudden shock erupted. The body moved. Talino almost cried out in surprise. Could it be that he was coming back to life? But in my shadowy vision, the corpse, however, strangely appeared natural from within. It condensed into wisps of black smoke. A dead dog lying on the ground also began to move, gulping it down in big gulps. 5 minutes later, the body completely disappeared. All that remained was a scorched scar, and the spiral horn on Death Dog's head. The color deepened a bit. Strike. At my command. The mercenary hiding on the rooftop fired a tranquilizer grenade first, hit the mark. The Death Dog roared in anger, but only after a few seconds of rampant behavior. I just stumble and fall. Unstable posture. The mercenary squad erupted in cheers, just as he was about to step forward to wrap things up. No, it is incorrect, I observed calmly. Although the dead dog was hit by a tranquilizer gun, but he didn't run for his life. This is completely against the animal's first instinct. Sure enough, in the next moment, the dog picks up the wounded luck. After biting a mercenary, he was about to walk away. Damn, he actually taught a dog a lesson. The squad leader immediately initiated the follow-up plan. A drone sped toward Death Dog. When the distance was 10 meters, high-pressure magnetic blast mesh was blasted out. Wrap the dog tightly. The leader spat bitterly. Stinky dog. The dog let out a whimpering sound. The more he struggled, the tighter the grid tightens up. But in the next moment, dramatic blood splattered everywhere. The female leopard king flickered for a few breaths, instantly judged by the dead dog. His blood actually possessed terrifying corrosive power. After the dog escaped, it showed no attachment to the fight. He fled at full speed at the first moment. The mercenary leader's face turned ashen. Misfortune will arise. This leaves a bad impression on the big sponsor. Trying to switch the battle. I'm afraid it's going to be difficult. Pursue. The drone carries a life radar, frantically searching every street and alley. Half an hour later, the search ended in a sewer 20 meters underground. The mercenaries kept their distance. Everyone was still shaken by the strength of the death dogs. Looks like I'll have to do it myself. The underground passage becomes dim when too crowded. Following the corrosive marks left by the dead dog, I slowly made my way into its nest. The doghouse is made from clothes and sofas discarded by humans. He only glanced at it. I withdrew my gaze. But the death dog often scratches its paws on the wall. But I discovered humanity itself. I hate it so much. Gustav deceived us. Why? We are constantly aging. But Gustav was getting younger and younger. Why can't I kill Gustav, Heavenly King Lan and the country? I examined the ruins. It seems the death dog was indeed born 30 years ago. This is the so-called bloody coup period. They sought to overthrow Gustavus's rule. But now, this history only circulates outside the dark web. Those who left behind the writing were likely the failed remnants of the bloody coup. The death dog's ability was also gained after devouring him. I quietly erased the writing. Rumors of discord between the king and the prime minister. It has been circulating on the dark web. There must be a pusher behind the scenes. But the current prime minister Crozier, he did indeed come to power after the bloody coup. It took so long to sense that something was wrong with the king. This year's prime minister lost the vote. It was King Gustav's warning to him. After all, under the cognitive influence of the king game, the so-called name was just Gustav's disguise. Setting aside these scattered thoughts, I had already captured the aura of the death dog. Silver threads danced endlessly, and strangled him to death. The threads condensed into a vortex, breaking through underground walls. My figure slowly sank, and it was directly below. Death dog is left with a lonely ironstone wound. Found you. The situation worsened again. The prime minister was assassinated. The little king card was also taken away. When I heard this rumor, a stronger sense of urgency welled up in my heart. Although the information has not yet been confirmed, but judging from Manhua's attitude, I've already figured out a few things. Little king cards are the king game, the only non-battle card, responsible for the operation of the entire system. This is truly a very bad sign. If the procedure operator fails the task, the Plum Blossom Stone will definitely issue me a mandatory task. The days of cuttlefish will be gone forever. Thinking back to the gap in strength between us when we first met, the enemy it faces is something I cannot match. The power is still too weak. I stared intently at the flesh test specimen in my hand. These were all taken from dead dogs. Under the stimulation of my level 2 physical control ability, ordinary cells are elevated to totipotent stem cells. Then they split wildly. Bone is continuously generated like 3D printing. Muscles and internal organs. A miniature dead dog appeared on the test bench. But in the next moment, flesh exploded. Mini death dog, turning into a bloody mess. I stopped what I was doing. The idea of cloning clones was completely bankrupt, even after mastering organ regeneration ability. Still, the problem of soul suppression cannot be solved. Sure enough, the freedom of life suppression is simply uncontrollable. Even if it's a complete remake of Death Dog, all I get is an empty shell with no consciousness. Fortunately, it's a death dog with such special physical strength. Only then can I support the development of my physical manipulation skills to this extreme. With this organ regenerative ability, cell suturing and flesh proliferation are already present before the match. It's basically a low-end version of immortality. As for why they didn't use the dead dog's body for experiments, but it was because I discovered the spiral horn on the head of this death dog was not natural. Instead, it was a complex and intricate spell. This is a type of ancient civilization script. To be able to leave such a mark on a death dog, only those with particularly profound strength are awakeners, far beyond what I can afford to provoke right now. But studying these spells has been very rewarding for me. Spiritual enhancement, health boost also increased to 5. Only then did they finally develop basic self-protection abilities in such circumstances. I released the death dog back to the city. The dog seemed to have received a great pardon. Wang Di dashed off with a shout. Not sure if it's just my imagination. Was the dog just insulting me? What a pity. I originally wanted to completely dissect him. Yet he was so ungrateful. Get lost. Next time we meet, I'll smash your dog head. Suddenly, the communicator rattled. Plum Blossom Stone's cool voice came through. 7 of Hearts. Negurvan is now in the City of Chaos. Mandatory missions. 3 hours later, I arrived in the City of Chaos. While pondering, suddenly 4 players arrived as well. I hurriedly hid myself. Could it be my whereabouts have been exposed? This is the simple and honest path of Swamingfeng. A city that even the music scene feels inferior. After the traitor Negilvan snatched the Little King card. It's hidden here. But I didn't act rashly. This kind of city feels very unusual to me. Rumor has it that the city's disorder originated 30 years ago. Here, a mysterious player was born. Become the actual controller. He personally turned the City of Chaos into a paradise for criminals. Minzeng is even more simple and honest than the music world. Negurvan's 3 of Spades possesses the ability to foresee extreme dangers, but their combat power ranks at the bottom. He chose to hide here. There must have been some kind of agreement with this mysterious player. While pondering, 4 players suddenly arrived at the City of Chaos. I hurriedly hid. Could my whereabouts have been leaked? At this moment, the 2 players had already stepped directly into the city. The City of Chaos seemed to suddenly come alive from its silence. Its hunt began. Guns and cannons roared in unison. The crowd was bustling with noise. The 2 players cursed loudly, caught off guard by this welcoming approach. A dozen armed helicopters chased after them to clear the shells. Meanwhile, the 2 players who were watching remained indifferent to all of this. So they weren't in the same league either. But this high-level human combat power simply cannot shake the players. A moment later, a player carrying the wind intent soared into the sky. They destroyed more than a dozen planes, though far apart. But the shadowy vision still confirmed its ability to control the wind. 4 players enter the City of Chaos one after another. I no longer hesitate. But the moment he stepped into the City of Chaos, a frenzied warning of a frenzied instinct. Instead, he calmed down. I carefully observed the city. Gang Paradise is a daily showdown. This is the public's portrait of it. But walking through it instead brings a unique sense of order. Especially the thriving graffiti culture within the city. Avant-garde, postmodern, abstract, meaningless. All sorts of strange and bizarre patterns were brought into the world by these violent individuals, venting their wild and irritable emotions. It feels more like strolling through a non-mainstream street scene. It has a unique charm. It's truly an infectious street culture. But the next moment, my pupils contracted. These graffiti could actually affect my mood. And it's not something you can do casually. All are carriers of ancient civilization texts and cotton patterns. Rumor has it that cotton patterns are created in dreams. But all the gang members in the city understood cotton weaving. I began to decipher these encrypted texts. The demon dragon descends upon the world, and judge the mortal world. Pain is art. Evil is art. The demon dragon cleanses everything. A fish at the street corner. Several artists, drunk and holding machetes. Applying grey ink. But this ink was not black. Instead, it was the blood flowing from their wounds. Rogues are not scary. But cultured hooligans began to play with performance art. It still sent a chill down my spine. And with the street gathering, I discovered an even more interesting phenomenon. These people are different from gang members in other cities. They actually believe that what they are doing is a crime-filled measure. It's impossible to change it. That's why they pin their hopes on the dragon's salvation. Another urban legend also circulates in the City of Chaos. Every full moon night, the great azure beast demon dragon will descend upon this city. He will devour those who have the deepest sins, and take away all the accumulated sins from everyone. How interesting. I stroked the graffiti scattered throughout every corner of the city. Is this really something a player's strength can achieve? Turning entire urban circles into hunting grounds. The ambition of this mysterious player is truly magnificent. The harmless, down-and-out old man wanted to talk to me about art, but I turned and ran away without looking back. At Molong Square in the city center, a massive jade wall carved with a demonic dragon fighting a 3-headed, 6-armed monster. Calm and focused. A voice suddenly sounded behind me. This is the demon dragon Xanto. It depicts 5,000 years ago, the scene of the azure-headed demon dragon, one of the 10 calamities, descending upon the empire. A declining old man. At some point, he was already standing beside me. Perhaps it was because they saw my artistic aesthetic immersed in the mural. This down-and-out old man who looked like an artist. I became interested in chatting, but in the next second, I have yet to indulge several others. She looked at him with full alertness. The sensation transmitted by the flesh-controlled threads is never fake. He is a formidable rival. After being seen through, the old man felt somewhat indifferent to the opposite sex. What a pity. I originally wanted to seriously talk to you about art. 7 of Hearts. You are not welcome here. As he spoke, his brush slipped into the paint bucket. When it appeared, the brush was already a vivid blood red. And as his brush moved, the statue of the azure-headed demon dragon began to slowly writhe, and fled. Without hesitation, I unleashed all my strength. Escaped from Dragon Square at a speed of 100 meters per second. The old man stopped doing it. Then he repeatedly lamented his regrets. He turned and continued painting the murals. Negurvan's questioning voice came through the communicator. Felix, why didn't you kill the 7 of Hearts? Gustav only wished the little king card would be destroyed. It doesn't really matter who does it. Therefore, 7 of Hearts was equipped with a Guardian's tracker. It drew all the players here. It took me a lot of effort to get the little king card. Can you really protect me until the fusion is complete? And assassinated his subordinates. This was the craziest thing Nagier Fong had ever done. But his ability to foresee good or bad fortune was crazily signaling to him. As long as you get the little king card, everything is auspicious. And the result also made him happy. His subordinates had already secretly leveled up the little king cards. From original coordination of things to integration of capabilities. Who owns the little king card? Whoever can forge the apostle armament possesses the power to rival the king. And now, this crucial little king card. It ended up in Nagilfan's hands. Thinking about the deal with the old man Felix, he was only asked to do so after fusing the cards. Go meet a big shot in the City of Chaos. Najim's expression darkened. No matter who this big shot is, the apostles armed him with determination. No one can stop it. At this moment, battles broke out continuously within the city. Other players were also searching for Negurvan's whereabouts. I turned and climbed the city's tallest building to look down. The view brought by the Tianjin tree continuously integrates with the city's layout. Just as expected, the city's architectural planning secretly aligns with the principles of magic arrays. Yet in the details, there were many mismatched Snake Celestial clan members. And the old man only happened to gain partial control of the city. After all, although he claimed to be an artist, but the work is full of restless traces of descending energy. They simply cannot handle the planners of the entire city. At nightfall, Felix waved a Hauji letter. Blood was spilled like it cost nothing. Tomorrow is the full moon. The blue-headed demon dragon appeared. But now, I can borrow a bit of the dragon's power, but that's still possible. Felix muttered to himself, while using a brush stained with blood. A stroke is drawn on the outline of the moon. Order. Killed 5 outsiders. The blood moon blinked slowly. A strange glow filled the city. All the rioters raised their heads together. He muttered to himself, kill it, kill it. Offer sacrifices to the demon dragon. As if without any warning, the night of the killing begins. All players are engulfed in the city's riots. The night of slaughter begins. The moment the blood moon rose, the city of chaos bared its fangs to outsiders. One rioter after another shouted about the hell of quick killing, flooding into the streets from all over the city. He launched a suicide attack on the players. Rockets and armed helicopters go without saying. On the battlefield, exoskeleton armor even appeared. I took advantage of the speed advantage of the red damage fist, constantly shuttling across the battlefield. It was just a sonic boom caused by high-speed action. It had pierced through the enemy's eardrums. This was as powerful as a shock bomb. The rioters were left frustrated, crying out in pain. Blood flowed from both ears. The shock of instant disappearance, breaking free from the control of deep hypnosis. They all collapsed to the ground and could not rise. But the thugs on the other battlefields were not so lucky. Under the overwhelming strength of the players, destroy them and fly across the sky. Flesh and blood splattered everywhere. It was like a scene from hell. The mastermind behind the scenes, Felix, remained completely calm. Idly, the signal drum pours down like a drum. Sure enough, they are all experts. Since probing is useless, then try the professional one. 15 exoskeleton armor units charged into the battlefield. They are incredibly strong. moves swiftly and is unafraid of normal attacks. A high-speed rotating sawmill blade. It could even cut armored vehicles in half. He had just joined the battlefield. This greatly weakened the player's offensive. I quietly retreated to the edge of the battlefield. Front limb strangulation ignores the protection of exoskeletal armor. It directly devours the outer metal, piercing the driver's heart. Unexpectedly, this skill is rarely developed. It was actually so corrosive. But before I can continue experimenting, a strange fluctuation swept across the city of chaos. Players eagerly looked up from the base station. It was Nagilvan. He was actually fusing the Little King card. At this moment, Nagilvan's face turned ashen. Around him was the gecko circle where Felix used the spirit transformation. But just now, this gecko enclosure, which could block the detection of life magnetism, suddenly failed. Felix, what are you doing? Your skills can only slightly influence a person's subconscious. Even weaker than my extreme prediction. Right now, they are just using that UGIO to set up their home turf in Chaos City. My location was leaked. Can you stop them? Felix looked confident. I didn't expect you to know about UGIO. 2. But there are no weak skills. Only weak users. In this city, I am God. In his brush, all sorts of bizarre shapes kept appearing. The blood moon outlined even more intensely. My heart is flushed red, almost dripping with red. Meanwhile, in the Demon Dragon Plaza, shrouded in blood moonlight, I anxiously stared at the 4 players who appeared together. One player has already died in the recent riot. They also sensed Gilvan's aura. That's why we all came here. But at this moment, their states were somewhat strange. The bloody madness of the City of Chaos has already influenced each other. Everyone's eyes flashed with the same bloodthirst. A strange suspicion spread in people's hearts. Felix is absent. I was just about to leave. Suddenly, 4 pillars of light pierced through to the heavens, shining upon all players. Everyone looked at each other with a smile, but they all thought of a possibility. Does this old guy want us to kill each other? In the blink of an eye, the pillar of light flickered uncertainly. It became paired in pairs. I felt complicated. Is such a low-level wall deal even possible? But in the next moment, the pillar of light bearing Koros's name rapidly approached me. I proactively suggested if I could skip the fight. First, eliminate the common enemy. But his bloodshot eyes and his crazed assault. I've already been told the answer. Originally a temporary alliance player group, but it ended up in a 2-on-1 brawl. Kolos made no attempt to hide the greed in his eyes. Thanks to Felix for the opportunity. I've always wanted your cards. And the reason he was so confident and sure to win. But he had already been a player for 3 years. And I was only 3 months old. Seeing that battle was inevitable. An iron ball was thrown from my hand. Like cannonballs, it shot toward Koros. The air exploded. The walnut-sized iron ball carried a layer of sonic boom. Rapid flight. 35 meters in an instant. However, this probing strike was blocked by Koros's palm. Blood splattered everywhere. Left hand pierced through. But the iron ball slowly faded away under the corrosive blood of his blood. The blood packet surged again. The next second, Koros's palm had returned to normal. His ability was actually blood manipulation. Kolos looked arrogant. Don't think only your physical strength is high. Blood is the essence of a person. As long as you control the blood, I don't need to cultivate at all. The instinctive supply of blood can drive me to keep getting stronger, until humanity's limits are surpassed. Where is it needed to be like you? Exercising with great enthusiasm. Vegetables. Efficiency is too poor. Utterly foolish. Let me show you the power of superpowers to the extreme. As he spoke, Koros's heart raced. The frequency breaks through 700 per minute. One was covered in blood. The blood-soaked muscular monster appeared in the blink of an eye. Blood condensed in his left palm. A small metal sphere suddenly appeared. Return it to you. The small ball was shot out. It actually outweighed my throw by several points. My heart sank. That attack just now looked a bit like showing off in front of an expert. Dynamic power pushed to the limit. The orb is refined from iron molecules in Koros's blood. Every meter ahead, it began to split on its own. When the machine set appeared before me, it had already split into 30,000 blood droplets. It envelops the entire area. An unprecedented crisis arrived. Swift and responsive. I maxed out all my muscle usage. A blur flickered. He reappeared 40 meters away. Koros exclaimed in admiration. Impressive, impressive. It was 0.3 seconds faster than I had estimated. But his expression was calm and unruffled. He still didn't take me seriously at all. I asked Chen Sheng as well. Really? But I can go even faster. Swift and responsive. The ruptured muscle fibers have not fully recovered. I used the secret techniques of the red bamboo shoot sect again. The muscle fibers were torn inch by inch again. If the recovery ability of physical control hasn't been upgraded, I simply can't use the Shunshim so continuously on the battlefield. The next second, his figure flickered repeatedly, like the footbrake of the strings. The wire kept cutting through Kolos's body. Under my rapid slashes, he was covered in blood. A huge amount of fresh blood gushed out. It turned into a bloody blade. But the arrogance he spoke of, there was still no moment of pause. String footbrake against peer penetration level. Obvious shortcomings. At this moment, although Kolos was in a sorry state, but there was no fatal injury at all. With his exceptional recovery ability, perseverance is unstoppable, and the amount of blood all over his body, it has long surpassed the standard of normal humans. Kolos continued to shout. It's useless. It's completely useless. My blood production has long been astonishing. The real battle was about to begin. Friendly reminder. Don't let me get within 10 meters. Or by my blood-red tentacles. Otherwise, what would happen? I don't dare to think about it anymore. I'm going to drain all your blood. Koros, who resembles a bloodbath spider. Abandoning defense, launching a full-scale attack. Fighting spirit seems to be alive. Whether the intelligence Koros voluntarily revealed was true or not, it had already pushed me 15 meters away. The battle became tied and constrained. The battle was deadlocked. But the enemy still had backup plans. Seeing me just trying hard everywhere, Kolos felt restless. Although his attack ability was terrifying, but blood was also being lost wildly. Strong hematopoietic function. It only allowed his blood reserves to be 10 times that of a normal person. It cannot be used indefinitely. He still had to save it for the strongest killing move. It's time to close the net. The next moment, countless stray dogs poured in from all directions. These strays have eyes that are truly astonishing. Clearly, he had been controlled by Kloss's blood. He was proud, truly grateful to the City of Chaos. With his magnetic field shifting, my technique became even more perfect. So just die in peace. 7 of Hearts. At that time, it was Ren. The next second, the stray dog attacked me wildly. But under the cutting of metal strings, they all died violently. I looked him up and down. Only after seeing no bloodstains did he breathe a sigh of relief. But the unease in his heart still lingered. Is this Kloss's ultimate move? He actually chose not to use blood to control others as a purification method. That is to say, the next moment, Koros solved my trouble. I found a better dragon head 7. Do you know why I insist on getting your card? Your idol strangulation. It can perfectly fuse with my blood control. This carefully crafted skill puzzle. Only then does it have the potential to challenge the Apostle Army. I'm not one of those pig demon rookies. Every card he sees, he throws it into his own body. As he spoke, his hand appeared again. A small metal sphere refined from blood. This is the synthesis of trace metal elements extracted from cells. Watch closely. My new ability, Life Magnetic Field. Those stray dogs you just killed. It has locked onto your life field with the grudges of your death. And what I have to do? It was about merging this resentment with iron. Once I let go of control over the iron, it will turn into a stream of light. A stream of particles returns to your body. The impact of this vital essence is enough to cut through any defense. So, I chose a vivid name. Blood Transformation Divine Blade. Koros wears the smile of a victor. He released the Magneto-Light blade in his hand. This is the final showdown. Go ahead. Blood Transformation Divine Blade. The Blood Transformation Blade turned into a streak of light. It pierced my heart like lightning. Just the instant it entered the body. A great catastrophe is coming. Collapse from cellular inhibition. It made me lose all motivation. Chemical knives are fueled by flesh and blood, and burned his body completely. From the head down, everything turned to ashes. But what's incredible is, the power of the chemical knife remained at his neck, making it difficult to advance even a little. I frantically control cell proliferation and division. Flesh and blood like a woven blanket, covering my body again. The puppets fired in 4 rows. Finally, they broke through Koros's defenses. Kolos widened his eyes, showing disbelief. How is that possible? But at this moment, my heart was just as unsettled. If it weren't for developing the immortal body, this time, death was certain. The blood-transformed divine blade was indeed formidable. No wonder Koros is confident in crushing his peers. But now, under his inspiration, idol strangulation has also been upgraded. It became a metal control. Under the premise of having the same kind of ability, I finally devoured the iron inside me. Stabilize the situation. Koros. I know you're very unwilling to accept it. You are based on my ability to solve the puzzle. But your ability puzzle is just as treasured to me. Sensing the messages transmitted from the puppet for lines within Koros's body, the inspiration for blood manipulation kept reaching my mind. A drop of blood appeared from my fingertip. Like a lively elf, ever-changing. Koros's face widened like ashes. Although the scent of the blood droplets was still very faint. But without a doubt, it was his supernatural blood manipulation. I don't want to be a traitor. But I'm also very interested in your abilities. So I had to learn from you on my own. The next moment, the corner sofa of Xian began to stir. Countless cold flashes swept past Koros, turning him into a bloody pulp. Meanwhile, on another battlefield, Feng Xingyun withdrew his final attack. He didn't even look at the 3 cards scattered after his opponent's death. No matter how much the fool's abilities improve, how much. The battle was settled. Feng Xingyun looked at the 7 of hearts who had survived on another battlefield. His expression was hesitant. But the next second, he still flew toward the 7 of hearts. The formidable enemy was defeated again. Wasp swept in with Feng Xingyun and blinked in. His gaze was complicated. It seemed as if he still held onto a shred of reason. I tried to persuade him again. Can't we take care of Felix first? Why do we keep stepping into such lowly traps? Feng Xingyun raised his hand. The wind came. The wasp led the test, just like his voice. Because George's Moria killed my best friend, Plum Blossom. So he inherited all his principles. We should also be prepared to face death. The reason he gave left me feeling bitter. But the situation is urgent. Feng Xingyun's figure kept rising higher. A giant as the wind. The fierce wind and stench of armor were draped like fish scales. A massive wind scythe, 30 meters long, also appeared in his hands. His skill level is definitely not just level 2. It was merely a blade accidentally compressed. It was already scraping my skin like a small knife. I quickly jumped into the exoskeleton armor I had previously captured. Upgraded metal control activation. Giant blade refining blade. The high-frequency vibrations of the forging blades grew wildly. It also reached 30 meters. Only now did Feng Xingyun show a faint smile. Very good. That's what makes it interesting. Hopefully, you won't be like that fool just now. They only rely on their tough skin and backward moves to get beaten in place. Let me test my speed first. The wind continues once more. In the next instant, the wind and clouds were like a rain of arrows gliding through the sky. Cutting through layers of air, it tore through the air and attacked me. This guy. The speed was as fast as 150 meters per meter. He had already surpassed the limits of the red bamboo shoot fist. The power armor simply couldn't keep up with his speed. In a moment, each baffle has been cut by the blade. Feng Xingyun laughed wildly. I've said it before. Developing a supernatural ability to the extreme is the true way. Awesome. This kind of battle is truly satisfying. I remained silent, secretly pushing metal control to the limit. This older model of armor still has significant room for improvement. After becoming a billionaire, I have operated the same machine before. Power armor is constantly being transformed and modified. Finally, the maximum speed of 130 meters per second was reached, although there is still a gap. But now, the battle finally caught up with Feng Xingyun's pace. Above the city, 2 massive shadows intertwined. The collision of invisible wind curtains and metal blades sparked 4 dissolves. The 2 giants continuously tore at each other's flesh and blood, and instantly regrouped again. The intense battle lasted a full 3 minutes. Feng Xingyun grew more and more arrogant as the fight progressed. 200 meters per second. As long as my speed keeps rising, you are bound to lose. The recent battle has drained you quite a bit. Do you still have the strength to take my attack? I cursed inwardly. With the energy I have left now, it can last at most 30 seconds. But he was also concerned about the methods I hadn't yet used. We are all betting on a chance now. Feng Xingyun's speed did not truce again as he had described. After unleashing a move, he slowly raised both hands. All rivers flow back to their course. A wild wind swept in recklessly. They frantically gathered toward Feng Xingyun. Is he about to make a killing move? At this moment, the entire battlefield shouted like the wind. Feng Xingyun was like that restless eye of the wind. I carry everything around me. This world-shattering power left him utterly intoxicated. 7 of Hearts. Even if you kill your little king, the card is still 5. Wind God Cannon. This guy. He was always pretending to be hypnotized. He never intended to work with anyone from the start. The high-speed spinning wind pellet twisted the air, played at 3 times the speed of sound, like a vast white light. Where nothing is known, the tall buildings vanish like smoke and clouds. The rubble turned into points. I stumbled out of the power armor. The entire power armor had completely collapsed. Feng Xingyun, are you function console? Next season, you won't be so lucky. Wind God Cannon. The opponent's ultimate attack is coming. Seeing the fierce wind in his hands gather once again, my gaze was cold. The red bamboo shoots are all swept by the rain. His rapidly activated body did not turn to flee. Instead, it charged relentlessly toward the gale giant. Courting death, the wind moves and the clouds remain unmoved. One sharp blade after another slashed out, relentlessly ravaging my body. Physical control. In this ocean of wind, I will have nowhere to escape. It can only block the sensation of neuralgia. I precisely calculated the intervals between each step. His figure was like a cannonball, stepping on debris falling from the sky. This is the ladder to the heavens paved for me by Feng Xingyun. The fierce wind continuously tore through his body. Again and again, reborn through physical growth. I was bleeding all over. Yet it carried an overwhelming aura. Charge into the sea ravaged by blades. It is said that even the supreme swift blade cannot cut through one's own handle. Tornadoes couldn't destroy his own eye of the storm. Feng Xingyun is your strongest advantage. It's your weakest point. A blurred vision reflected the surprising face at the core of the wind giant. The puppet thread finally pierced through Feng Xingyun's defense. Wind index. The clouds dispersed. Physical value increases. The eyeballs gradually regenerate. My gaze returned to my eyes. At this moment, Feng Xingyun's pride shattered like glass. Impossible. That's impossible. I'm already on level 3, Noto Street. You can't possibly beat me. Have you really reached level 3? Feng Xingyun's expression darkened. I reached level 3. But my spiritual inability fell again. Someone saved me. That's why I came here to help him grab the Little King card. My puppet threads instantly merged into Feng Xingyun's body. Inspired by the Closs Life magnetic field skill, I can now combine spirituality with physical exploration. In the feedback of the puppet thread, there was indeed a huge gap in the life energy field within Feng Xingyun. It was probably left behind after his failed breakthrough skill. Insufficient spirituality, unable to break through skills? It reminds me of Korosa's development of the life magnetic field skill. His knowledge base was undoubtedly close to what mags would call muggles. So the development of such a powerful skill as the life field could only be extremely limited. But Feng Xingyun clearly has stronger talent. I extended an olive branch. Let's work together. But first, let me clarify that you have no right to refuse. Yang Bai. Choirs now instantly envelops Feng Xingyun. Demon Dragon Warriors. The grey-headed demon dragon stretching across the city square. Under Felix's finishing touch. Transforming into a giant dragon stretching for hundreds of miles. Feng Xingyun unleashed the Wind God Cannon with full power. Before it even reached Felix, it was neutralized by the dragon's body. At this moment, the mobs of the City of Chaos, his face full of fanaticism, they surged onto the streets. He bowed and worshipped the blood moon. The demon dragon descends upon the world, and judge the mortal world. Felix finally stepped from behind the scenes to the forefront. I finally succeeded. Mr. Najir is about to accept UGIO's frugality. And you and Feng Xingyun. So what if we join forces? In the end, they are stepping stones to my success. Welcome to the Ascension Ceremony. The life or death dual trial arena opened. The demon dragon's figure darted through the air. The massive blood moon grew even brighter as it sank in the west. In the end, it actually turned into the demon dragon's right eye. In an instant, Najir and the $1 million mob were drawn into his gaze. Then the demon dragon's left eye slowly opened. He drew the remaining 3 players into his eyes. Welcome to the Dream Duel Arena. After 30 seconds, All players began competing for the Dream Gem. The crisp synthesized electronic sound snapped me out of my confusion. And it was not far away. Felix and Feng Xingyun were also suspended in midair. Dream Duel Arena. Felix. This is completely different from the judgment you mentioned. Felix was still full of confidence. This is a battlefield set up by UGIO. Lord, as long as I kill you, I can devour 2 portions of spirituality. Enough to get me to level 3. I do not know if it is possible or not. Make the most of your time to read the game rules. 1,000 dream gems are scattered throughout the city. Whoever gets more gems gets the more gems. The stronger the power in the dream. The rules are considered absolutely fair. But Felix, as a veteran of the duel arena, they will definitely rely on familiarity with the rules to seize the initiative. But what interests me more is the 7 of Hearts. Silence fell upon entering the arena. The abilities I have now. It looks more like a replica of the 7 of Hearts. Could it be the Dream Duel Arena is actually similar to a virtual game developed by Mia? It is a private server installed in the King's game. 30 seconds pass in the blink of an eye. The 3 of them were located in different districts. The moment he landed, Felix immediately pulled out his brush and summoned hundreds of giant rats. He started collecting at once. Meanwhile, I also gained something. A gemstone radiating a rainbow red light. Lying quietly atop the ruins. So this is the Dream Gem. The moment I got close, I unexpectedly felt a strong urge to devour. Just a fleeting moment of gain. I understood the purpose of gemstones. It can increase skill levels. 10 Dream Gems. Enough for me to advance to level 3. You can even spit out gems to reset your level. Doesn't this mean this Dream Duel Arena? It is the best skill development testing ground. The development and combination of skills here offer endless possibilities. This is probably the real purpose behind Game Network creating the Dream Duel Arena. With that in mind, I reverted the metal control ability. Creating metal life. Summoning the metal giant python with the invitation. He frantically searched the surroundings for gems. Just as I expected. This is simply the best skills testing ground. If we fuse physical control and metal manipulation here, in theory, it would definitely be feasible. But just as the metal python was about to move, Feng Xingyun locked onto my location. Feeling the puppet threads controlling it inside his body lose their effect, Feng Xingyun couldn't help but think more actively. The next moment, a hurricane swept through. Feng Xingyun flew toward me again. His understanding of wind skills gained a terrifying boost in the Dream Duel Arena. At this moment, he felt like the Wind King of mythology, a demon passing through the realm. No one can stop it. 7 of Hearts. And accepted the command. The wind spirit is destroyed. His first move was a massive wind pellet 100 meters in diameter. Its power is 10 times greater than the wind god cannon. Feng Xingyun thought I would shatter with a single squeeze. But he didn't notice. All the steel in this city is coming to me alone. At this point, I had already activated the fusion skill. Indestructible as diamond. My entire body transformed into half flesh, half activated metal. A tiny giant swelling 12 meters 12. But in Feng Xingyun's eyes, this was just a miniature giant. The root cause is not worth worrying about. However, in the next moment, the metal objects around kept trembling. They all gathered around me. Metal storm strikes. The 12-meter King Kong little giant. In an instant, he transformed into a 300-meter tall giant reaching the sky. The seal is like a pocket-sized bullet. I casually knocked him away. The giant palm reached out and instantly caught Feng Xingyun. A gentle squeeze. Feng Xingyun hurriedly announced his fall. Various knowledge about the use of the wind element flooded my mind. This is Feng Xingyun's spiritual understanding. I didn't expect the Dream Duel Arena to even devour skill experience. Raise your spirituality in this way. UGIO created all of this. Truly a genius. But now the biggest threat is Felix. He had already advanced to level 3. The pen sketches again. 10 giant thunderbirds appeared. The search speed has accelerated. With a wave of my hand, I knocked down a thunderbird. The next moment, it disintegrates the 300-meter-long giant's body. Metal giants may be strong, but when it comes to collecting dream gems, it has no advantage. I focus my thoughts. A new skill combination came to mind. Metal double frame. Among all beings, the metal ruins before him began to writhe. The scattered parts instantly transformed into metal robots. These were originally robot vacuum cleaners. Machines like smart butlers. After connecting the puppet thread, it was like being reborn. Scatter into the city and start searching for gems. As gems are obtained, skill level upgraded. In the end, 700 small robots became active. Felix, possessing the sight of the big rat. Seeing this scene, he grew anxious. Unable to resist, the Lava Legion was summoned at will. Each individual is 30 meters long. A completely crimson lava appeared. Begin hunting machines. Mechs reappear. Under the blade of the saw-forging knife over 10 meters away, the Lava Legion suffered heavy losses. This battle and gathering continued until midnight. Under pressure, Felix finally accumulated 500 gems. Activates at level 4, 1 ability. A dark giant tore through space and stepped onto the battlefield, feeling the spiritual energy within him nearly spiraling out of control. Felix dared not hesitate. Launch a decisive battle. I withdrew my hard words from the trial skill. He thought to himself, what a pity. The Dream Duel Arena is actually more suitable for skill simulation. But Ferric was determined to end the fight. It leaves me limited time to comprehend the skills. But I also noticed, after the skill reaches level 4, the dream begins to feel unstable. The reliability of the simulations is greatly reduced. It has lost its reference value. Then let's fight to the end. Metal magnetic fields scattered. Mechanical parts are constantly being combined and reassembled. Come out. Strong and strong men. The Ganglies is a mech masterpiece from the Sunny Empire. Composed of 3,600 gears. It was my favorite toy when I was a child, and the rumored strongest mech of the Sunny Empire. It can achieve precise engagement of 120,000 gears. This structure is detachable and easy to assemble. This is undoubtedly the optimal solution for the current situation. But in the instant of the clash, the Dark Giant has been crushed by Ganglies. A dark giant depicted by Felix's imagination. It simply can't compare to the real-life Ganglishi experience. Felix was furious and humiliated. Impossible. You can't possibly collect 500 dream gems. Why did it also reach level 4? I kept silent. He just kept pushing Ganglishi, forcing the dark giant into a steady retreat. Dream gems are only used to stack spirituality. But if my spirituality is already high, why do you need 500 gems to break through to level 4? Felix, an illiterate member of the magical world. It's simply impossible to understand this common sense. It must be said. Felix, you who consider yourself an artist, when it comes to imagination, it's really terrible. Ganglisha threw another heavy punch. Completely scatter the dark giant. Felix looked as if he were mad. The 7 of Hearts is all because you forced me. Even if it can't devour your spirituality, you must die too. The blue-headed demon dragon painting. Painting with brush ash. The demon dragon, whose will is wonderful and smiles, leaps off the page. This was Felix when he was young. Encounters obtained while traveling through chaotic Star Rock. Taking advantage of the layout of Chaos City UGIO. Finally, he gained the ability to transform into stone with hollow material. The demon dragon projection slowly appeared. Felix muttered to himself. Endless savage demon dragons. Appear. As the face of the demon dragon contending appeared, 500 dream gems. Felix poured it all into the demon dragon's mouth. The demon dragon roared and raged, devouring the dream gem with all its might. However, in the next moment, the mad demon dragon looks like a frozen image, unable to move at all. The Dream Duel Arena also showed faint signs of collapse. Felix turned his head in disbelief and questioned, "What exactly have you done?" In that moment when time stood still, then I walked slowly toward Felix. Just moments ago, he was so arrogant. At this moment, she was so weak and helpless. Felix, the cotton patterns and graffiti you left behind in the city, surely they don't think no one can understand it. Back when you first summoned the Blood Moon, the nodes of the magic circle have already been destroyed by me. The Dream Duel Arena simply does not allow it. The azure-headed demon dragon, such a powerful existence, descended. Felix, you, as an administrator, use cheats to cheat. The rules of the game have already been broken. Now completely banned by UGIO. It turns out you don't understand the big shot behind you at all. I no longer paid attention to the disappointment in Felix's eyes. It was all over. Idle foot sand. Felix's body shattered like fireworks. My spiritual energy surged once again. This time, I also gained a bit of artistic experience. At this moment, in another space, The little king card inside Nagurfan was withdrawn. A wave of bitterness welled up in his heart. He is UGIO. Everything was done for him. The UGIO side holds a high position. In an instant, the main card inside him had been swapped to a minor king card. UGIO gazed playfully at the location of the capital. Gustav, just wait. This time, I use the little king card as the base. Assemble a new set of apostle armor.